In Grand Theft Auto 5, there's a way to make 5 police cars forget that you exist. You drive into a parking garage. You stop the car. You wait about 20 seconds. That is it. No shooting, no chase, no clever driving. Concrete over your head, and the most wanted man in Los Santos becomes nobody at all. Every player has done this. Almost nobody asks why it works. It works because a wanted star has never measured what you think it measures. It does not measure how badly the police want you. It does not measure what you did. For 25 years, across 6 games, that number on your screen has measured exactly one thing: whether anyone can currently see you. And in Grand Theft Auto 6, for the first time, that stops being true. Start with what a star actually is, because it is not a police officer. A wanted level is a number the game keeps about you, and that number controls 3 things: how many units the game spawns, what kind they are, patrol cars, helicopters, armored response, and how long you have to stay unseen before the number falls back down. That is the entire system: spawn rate, unit type, timer. Now notice what is not on that list. Nowhere in it is there a description of you. No name, no face, no clothes, no license plate. The police in Grand Theft Auto have never been looking for a person. They have been spawning near a coordinate. Once you see that, the parking garage stops being an exploit and starts being the honest behavior of the machine. You did not outsmart the police. You stepped outside the only test the game was running. The interesting question is why it was built that way. And the answer is the same answer as the islands, because the machine could not afford anything better. 2001, Grand Theft Auto 3. The console running it has 32 megabytes of memory, the same 32 megabytes that cut Liberty City into 3 islands. Now imagine asking that machine to simulate a manhunt, officers who share information, a dispatcher who tracks where you were last seen, units that sweep a district in a pattern. Every one of those things means remembering something over time, and remembering is the one thing that machine had almost none of. So Rockstar did the cheapest possible thing that still feels like being hunted. They drew a circle. By Grand Theft Auto 4, the circle is literally on your map, a search zone, painted on the minimap, growing with every star. Get outside it, stay out of sight, and the zone gives up. There is no investigation happening inside that circle. There is a distance check, running a few times a second. How far is the player from the place where the crime happened? That is the whole manhunt. And it works, for one reason. Distance is free. A game that could not afford to remember, you could still afford to subtract 2 numbers. 2013, Grand Theft Auto 5 deletes the circle. In its place, every unit gets eyes. An officer on foot has a narrow field of view. A police car has a wider one. A helicopter hanging over the city has the widest of all. When the police are actively chasing you, your radar flashes red and blue, and your stars sit there, solid. The moment they lose you, the radar goes quiet and the stars start to flash. That flashing is the game telling you the truth about its own state. Nobody can see you right now, and the slower those stars flash, the closer you are to being free. If a single officer catches sight of you, 1 cone, 1 line of sight, the timer goes back to the beginning. This is a real improvement. It rewards breaking line of sight instead of simply driving away. It is the reason alleys and tunnels and underground car parks suddenly matter. But look at what did not change. The system still knows where you are. It still does not know who you are. You can do something unspeakable on a boulevard in daylight. Drive 4 blocks, park under a building, and walk out of that garage into a crowd, and not one officer in that city has any idea what the man they were chasing looks like. 5 stars, no description. That is the rule that held for 25 years. Then, in 2018, Rockstar broke that rule. Not in Grand Theft Auto. In Red Dead Redemption 2, you rob a store. Somebody sees it, and a word appears on your screen. Witness. On the map, that person gets an eye, and the color of that eye is the entire idea. A white eye means they saw a crime happen. A red eye means they can identify you. Those are 2 different states, and until that game, no Rockstar system had ever separated them. Everything follows from the split. Put a bandana over your face, and you do not become invisible. You are still seen. You become unidentified. The witness can still run to the law, but what they are able to report has changed. Chase that witness down, and the report never happens. Because the crime was never the problem. The description was. And then, the detail that makes the whole thing click. Bounties in that game are regional. Each part of the map remembers you separately. Come back to a region where you are already known, wearing the same clothes, with the same hair, riding the same horse, and you are recognized on sight, even masked. That is not a police system anymore. That is a world holding a description of you and checking it against whoever walks into town. Which brings us to Leonida, and to what Rockstar has actually shown. The first thing is dispatch. In Grand Theft Auto 6, police units are sent, and they arrive. They do not appear at the end of the street the instant your star lights up. There is a gap between doing something and meeting the response to it. That gap is exactly what the earlier games could not afford, because a gap means holding on to the idea of a car that exists somewhere else and is on its way. The second thing is that the police are allowed to not shoot you. At lower wanted levels, they try to contain the situation, and you are given the chance to surrender. The star is no longer a switch between free and firefight. The third is the sixth star, and this is where almost everyone gets it wrong. 6 stars is not new. San Andreas had 6. Grand Theft Auto 4 cut the scale down to 5, and that is where it stayed for 18 years. So the 6th star is not an invention, it is a return, and it tells you Rockstar wants a top end that means something again. Then there is the part that is not confirmed. Leaked builds point to police identifying you by your clothing and your appearance, to security cameras as part of the system, and to a timer counting the dispatch. Treat those as leaks, because that is what they are. But notice that they are all the same idea, arriving in a city, a description of you, held by the world. Here is what that does to the way you play. In every Grand Theft Auto you have ever played, escaping is a driving problem. Distance, corners, line of sight. You solve it with a steering wheel. If the world can identify you, driving stops being the answer. You cannot outrun a description. The moment a city knows that a man in a red shirt driving a white sedan did it, the sedan is a liability and the shirt is evidence. Every second you keep them, you are advertising yourself. The skill changes. Not get away. Stop being the person they are looking for. Change the car. Change the clothes. Know which streets have cameras. Reach the witness before the witness reaches a phone. That is the heist fantasy this series has been promising in its cutscenes for 20 years, while its actual systems ran a distance check. And it only works if the response is slow enough for those choices to exist, which is precisely what a dispatch delay buys. So why did it take 25 years? Because identity is expensive, in the most literal sense. A circle costs 1 subtraction. A cone costs a handful of angles. But a world that recognizes you has to keep a description of you. It has to give the people in it memory that survives you walking away. It has to place cameras as objects that see, instead of decoration bolted to a wall. And it has to keep all of that consistent across a map the size of a state. That is not a design that was waiting for a better idea. It was waiting for a machine. It is the same shape as the islands. The ocean around Liberty City was never a statement about isolation. It was 32 megabytes of memory, wearing a costume. The wanted star was never about police. It was a distance check, wearing a siren. And the tell, both times, is the same. The limit left, and the design stayed. Consoles grew hundreds of times more memory, and the maps stayed islands. Hardware got fast enough to remember you in 2018, and it still took the city another 8 years to catch up. What we still do not know is worth saying out loud. Rockstar has not shown how 4, 5, and 6 stars actually behave. The entire top of the scale, the part every trailer implies and nobody has seen. We do not know whether being caught means anything beyond a fade to black. Prison has been rumored for years and shown never. And we do not know whether the regional memory from Red Dead survives the move into a city. On a frontier, riding into the next county to be a stranger again makes sense. In Leonida, with cameras and phones, the next county may not exist. The next real look at the game comes on the 27th of August. The game itself arrives on the 19th of November. Back to the parking garage. The reason that trick works is that the game was only ever asking one question, over and over. Can anybody see him right now? Answer so for long enough, and you are free. Not forgiven. Forgotten. Because there was nothing to forgive, and nobody to forget. There was no you in the system at all. That is what is ending. Not the difficulty, the anonymity. For 25 years, the wanted star measured how well you could hide. In Grand Theft Auto 6, it starts measuring who they think you are, which means the concrete over your head is not going to be enough anymore, because the man walking out of that garage is still wearing the shirt.